What's going on, y'all? This your boy Petrie Perfect, and we're back for another episode of the Don't Cancel My Movie Talk and News. This is just an opportunity for me to get on here and do what I love, and that's talk about movies with you all today. So we got a fun lineup for y'all today. But before we get into it, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss when these videos go live. Also, don't forget about our live shows every Tuesday night at 7:30. Myself, Petrie Perfect, and my co-host and brother VINOFLIGHT as well. We talk about all the stuff in pop culture, and we have a really fun show planned for y'all this Tuesday. So make sure you all go and like and subscribe to this video so you don't miss that. Also, don't forget to go through like our other videos. We have our Carter 6 album reaction that's posted on the page. Go check that out, as long as with the other episodes of movie news. So we have a fun episode today. We're gonna get into it. We're not gonna waste any time because we have a packed show. I'm excited. We're gonna be talking about We're gonna be talking about the July blockbusters. We're going to be talking about Denzel Washington now in Black Panther. We're also going to be talking about Samuel Jackson and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So, with all of that being said, let's get right into it. We're going to start here with James Gunn is saying that Superman is finished. He said it's 100% finished. They've been doing reshoots and all kind of stuff like that, trying to get all the stuff ready for um, the release of the movie, finalizing it, putting the icing on the cake for the movie. And now it is completely done, which means there is nothing left to add. If it ain't in there, it ain't in there. And we are so excited to see what James Gunn vision of Superman is going to look like. We know what he did with the Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, all amazing movies where he took a bunch of C-list characters and made them into some of the top characters in the MCU. Now, working with C-list characters and working with all-star characters is going to be a little different. I can translate it to sports. Some people can coach uh, a bunch of average players, but then when they get a superstar, it's going to be different. And that's what Superman is. Superman is a superstar. I believe James Gunn is going to still give us a great movie with a great product, but it is going to be different. Making people fall in love. People are not going to be as critical of a Star Lord or a Drax or a Gamora or a Nebula. People are not going to be as critical about that because they didn't know much about the characters to begin with. So in a sense, you taught us about those characters. You taught us about the Guardians of the Galaxy. You taught us about Groot. You taught us about Rocket the Raccoon. So it's a little different. You can't be as critical. Some of the hardcore comic people will be like, "Oh, nah, blah blah blah," but the major audience didn't know about those characters. We fell in love with those characters throughout the movies that they were in. Whereas Superman, everybody knows Superman, everybody watches Superman, everybody loves Superman. So this is going to be very. People already were critical of the trailers. They had the thing where they threw the can at him in the trailer and he blinked. People were critical. That's how critical people are when it comes to Superman. And I think James Gunn is starting to see a different side of when you're directing or trying to make a movie of a superstar. That's what the Spider-Mans, the Batmans, the Supermans, the X-Men, these characters that everybody knows. People are going to be way more critical because they have more knowledge on these people. Unlike, what's the show that he made? Uh Creatures Commandos. I know people, that's a show I know he's done already, the animated show. Like we said, Guardians of the Galaxy. These are just shows that people don't know much about. Peacemaker. People don't know much about these characters. So it's easier to bring those characters in rather as characters that we've all grown to love. So with Superman being finished now, the July blockbusters are ready to go. We do have Jurassic World, we have Superman, and we have the Fantastic Four. And so it's going to be an awesome, awesome, awesome month of July. Um, I think one of these having these movies out in the month of July, I kind of hate it because it'd been nice if these were spread out throughout the year so they all can capitalize. It's gonna be hard for them in the box office with all three movies coming out so close to one each other, and then they're all gonna be a pretty lengthy time at the theaters as well. So you do have These are the run times for all of the three major blockbusters. Jurassic World is 2 hours and 14 minutes. Superman is 2 hours and 9 minutes, and the Fantastic Four is 2 hours and 10 minutes. So those are your run times for all three movies. I know right now Fantastic Four is set um, to have his biggest opening weekend of that particular franchise. Remember, this is the third iteration of the Fantastic Four, so they're already on track to have the biggest opening weekend of those three movies. As far as Marvel, as far as the MCU, I'm sure they will probably be one of the bigger movies this year. Of course, Thunderbolts underperformed at the box office. I thought the movie was pretty good, but Thunderbolts underperformed because the downside of having a movie with with lesser known characters is that it's hard to promote that as well. You have to have a banger movie, and I think that's what Thunderbolts fell short. But see, people know the Fantastic Four, so people are excited that Marvel is getting their chance at directing the Fantastic Four, and that we can see the Fantastic Four in the Avengers or interact with the Avengers and the X-Men. I think that excitement alone with the Fantastic Four, they're Marvel's first family. They're one of the original characters from Marvel. So everybody's going to be excited to see this movie. I'm expecting Fantastic Four to do big numbers. On our previous episode, we talked about is Marvel losing its its aura. Is Marvel losing its aura? Is Marvel not performing at the box office? Are people not going out to see? Are people having superhero fatigue? I believe this movie is going to let us know exactly where we stand on that. I believe so. This is going to be such a big movie. It's going to be such a big movie in the next step that Marvel takes in the direction that it's going. So, of course, we definitely have other Marvel news that we'll get to here in a bit, but it just makes it's just important to see what the Fantastic Four is going to do, because that's how that's how and also this movie had failed, literally failed the other two times. So people are really looking forward to seeing it. And we have a great cast. We have look like a great story. We have the multiverse going. All this stuff is moving in the favor that we wanted to move in when it comes to Fantastic Four. So we'll see how that goes. And Jurassic World, this movie is I'm really, out of the three blockbuster films, this is the one I'm the most worried about. I believe Jurassic World Dominion kind of fell short because I forgot what the name of the second Jurassic World was. Let me see, what was the name of the second Jurassic World? Was it that? No, 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 no. I can't. I don't know if it was. No, this next one's called Rebirth. Well, whatever that second Jurassic World, I believe with the this at the end of the second, or at the end of the yeah, at the end of the second Jurassic World, it ended with these animals, these dinosaurs roaming the earth, and so we thought in the next Jurassic World, which was Dominion, I believe, which is the last one we've had before this one, in Dominion, that it was going to be the dinosaurs interacting with people in the real world, and how this is affecting, and a T-Rex walking through the streets of LA. I'm making up some stuff, but that's what we went to see, and it was really a very self-contained story when it could have been a huge story. So Jurassic World Dominion really fell short, and so I'm hoping with this rebirth that they actually build on that, and well, not build on that. I want them to kind of tear it up and recreate something new. I know with Scarlett Johansson in the cast, the movie is going to be amazing. She's an amazing actress, but I just hope that this movie kind of get us back into that world, because Dominion really, really disappointed us. So that's the one I'm really the most worried about when it comes to these July blockbusters. But I can't wait to go see it. And then also, uh, the Superman, like we spoke about, Superman is going to be one of those movies. It's going to be very critical to see what people think about Superman, how folks react to it. People like the Henry Cavill. I was a fan of Man of Steel. I thought Man of Steel was an awesome movie. Uh, it had its moments, but Man of Steel was a great movie, and he was a great Superman. He had the look, he had the charisma, and he had the Clark Kent, and he had the Superman locked down. I was really disappointed that Henry Cavill wasn't going to be a Superman anymore, but I also understand why he's not being Superman, and I respect it. I'm okay with it. We're moving on to a different direction. No more Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. Ezra Miller, thank God, no more Ezra Miller as the Flash, and so this new DCU universe is going to be awesome. And I think hopefully Superman can really get it kicked off, because this is the Iron Man. This is the Iron Man of the MCU. Can you get Superman right? If they get this movie right, everything else will fall in place. I promise you. I promise you everything. I believe James Gunn will get this ready to go. So what movies are you most excited about in the month of July? Is it Jurassic World Rebirth? Is it Fantastic Four? Or is it Superman? Let me know in the comments below, which movie are you most excited for, because I'm excited for all of them. But having the Fantastic Four in the MCU and the multiverse and all this stuff, it's Marvel's at a place right now where they're trying to create excitement. They're trying to create conversation, especially after the recent delays, the not showing up to Comic Con. They're trying to find ways to get people engaged, to get people talking, because if people not talking about you, you'll wither away and metaphorically die in a sense in the entertainment world. So big news dropped this week. Denzel Washington has officially been casted in Black Panther 3. Is this Marvel's biggest casting yet? Denzel Washington, as we all know, is one of the greatest actors. Not black actors, not colored actors, not minority. He is one of the, hands down, one of the biggest actors in our lifetime, and he's officially been cast in one of Marvel's biggest properties, the Black Panther 3, that will be directed by Ryan Coogler. Of course, this came out about a couple months ago. I can't remember when they did the interview. It was a couple months ago, I want to say, where Denzel actually let it spill that he would be in Black Panther 3. Of course, that was a big thing. He wasn't really supposed to say anything, and I know Ryan Coogler even said in another interview that Denzel called him and they talked about it, and there was no animosity or nothing. Like, Ryan Coogler is just thankful and shocked and still like a little kid that I get to work with Denzel Washington, but I don't think he was supposed to say it right then and there. So we kind of knew this already, but now it's just been officially cast that Denzel Washington will be in Black Panther 3. Now, when this movie comes out, I can't tell you that. I don't know if this will be a Phase 7 movie. I don't know if this will be after Avengers: Secret Wars, or will this be before. If you ask me, I think it will probably come after Secret Wars, because I believe that's when the Black Panther 3 is coming out. Because if I'm not mistaken, we have the Fantastic Four, then Spider-Man, then Avengers: Doomsday. I want to say there's two movies in between Doomsday and Secret Wars. I want to say, I think one of them might be our Doctor Strange. We don't know what. That's why Comic Con was so important, so that way we could have gotten a schedule. But I don't see them fitting this in before Black Panther. I mean, before, excuse me, Secret Wars. But I do know that Bob Iger, which is the CEO of Disney, he's been on Marvel's behind, basically, because of everything that's happening, and he wants movie. Bob Iger sees dollar signs. He sees bottom line. He's trying to get the money out there, and I get it. Especially having one movie coming out in 2026. Well, I guess two movies come out in 2026. But let me rephrase that. Having one movie that they get all the money from in 2026. Spider-Man will release in 2026, but they will have to split those funds with Sony. So the only movie that they would get all the funds from that come out in 2026 is Avengers Doomsday. So Bob Iger has not been happy. I know Bob Iger, Kevin Feige, who is the president of Marvel Studios, they've been going back and forth trying to figure out what is the next move for Marvel. Denzel Washington being casted in this movie does create conversation, does create excitement, especially Ryan Coogler, who's coming off the success of Sinners. It's all exciting, and he loves it. He's a little kid. This movie has done well. Wakanda Forever, Black Panther 2 wasn't the strongest movie in my opinion, but they were dealing with a lot. Not only were you dealing with the pandemic and those things, you were also dealing with the actual death of the main character in the show, the T'Challa, who took everybody's hearts when the original Black Panthers when came out. The movie was so good. It was so culturally relevant. People were going to the theaters and dashikis and Wakanda Forever. Like, boom, this was such a big, it was such a big deal for so long. It was probably the most impactful movie in the Marvel slate. So Wakanda Forever had a lot to follow up with. They had a lot going against it, and to me, they did do the best that they could. I personally wasn't a big fan because I didn't like how there was no Black Panther until like the last 30 minutes of the movie. That was my only thing about the movie. If it's a Black Panther movie, I would like to just see more Black Panther. He or she is such an incredible character that I didn't feel like we just didn't get enough of that in the movie. Of course, I don't know if y'all saw this recently, but there has been a white Black Panther in the comics, but we'll save that for another episode. Denzel Washington is rumored. He was also rumored for a lot of different roles. He was also rumored to be playing Magneto in the X-Men, but I think Denzel is not going to be sticking around for that long. So I don't think he would have to, I don't think he would want to take a role like Magneto that will require him to keep having to come back and keep basically playing a role till he's in his 90s. I know Denzel's on the bottom side of his career. He's ready to get out of here. He's left his mark in the world. And I think Black Panther, his role, whatever it's going to be, whether it's going to be a villain or a hero, I think his role in Black Panther is going to be one of his more iconic roles. I'm talking about more iconic than Training Day. I'm talking about Frank Lucas. I'm talking about Fitz's character in Fences. I'm talking about one of the most iconic roles that Denzel Washington has played. I believe one of those top is going to be this one in Black Panther 3. I'm excited to see. I don't want I don't know if I want him to be a villain or a hero. I've been going back and forth on that since I've gotten the news. I think he would do great as a villain. Um, I think it's easier for him to be a villain too, especially if this is going to be a one-off story. I think Denzel can be an iconic villain that the new Black Panther or the or Shuri or um the Black Panther from a different, however they're going to explain us getting a new T'Challa, either that person or sure whoever's going to have to go up and defeat him. I think he can be a very, very iconic villain. I wouldn't want him to be a hero, because then that means he can come back. And I think, like I said, I think this is just going to be a one-off. He gets to be in the MCU. Denzel Washington MCU. If you'd have told me this 10 years ago, I would have said you're crazy. This ain't his type of movies. He would have. I think I had this conversation with some friends of mine back in the day. Like he's not gonna play no Marvel characters. He's not gonna be in no Marvel or DC. He's not a comic book kind of guy. But uh, I mean, I think, and when you get into your older years, you tend to want to just do different things. You see Beyonce, she starts doing country music. The greats, they want to expand. They want to do different things. They want to be able to leave their mark, doing a lot of things. And also, I think he could be taking I think he could be taking a page out of Samuel Jackson's book as well. Um, Samuel Jackson was doing an interview, a podcast, and he was just speaking about different things, the LA, like his time in LA, just movies, just different story. Samuel Jackson's a great storyteller. You can sit there and listen to him talk. But one of the things that he said that really caught, that really caught flame and went viral was that Samuel Jackson said, I do movies that I want to go and see. I do popcorn movies. I don't do movies that I'm going to get an Oscar for. People are out there statue chasing all the time. And I think this is very important. When I read that quote, I said, that makes sense. That makes sense. Samuel Jackson, that makes sense. I love that for him. I really do. And the reason why I love that for him is because Samuel Jackson has a filmography unlike no other. There are some people, and he's right, a lot of actors and actresses pick and choose their movies. They, and I mean, they try to strategically pick and choose their movies, whether they'll think this is going to get them award, or this thing right here, they can't be a bad person. Or I know people like for example, the rock has in his contracts that he can't lose a fight. That is absolutely ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. Like, why you can't lose a fight? It's fiction, it's not real. Like, that's really absolutely insane. But I think Vin Diesel might have the same thing, which is why everything that they do always comes to a standstill. But Samuel Jackson definitely has blessed us throughout the entire of our lifetime with multiple classic movies. They might not be classic in the Academy eyes, but they're classic to us. Us as movie lovers. He has done some movies that are strictly for us as black people. He has done movies that's for everybody. Samuel Jackson just, I agree with that. Picking movies that he feel like people want to see, and that's what the problem I've always had with the Oscars. I think the Oscars is, I think they try to choose movies that are like a little more classy and bougie, and it's like I feel like the Oscars should, in a sense, reflect the box office. Now, I know box office does not mean that it's just this great movie, but the Oscars, you can look at pictures, films for Best Picture, and none of these films, the majority of the public have not seen. You might have one in there, one or two in there. I believe Black Panther was nominated for Best Picture, but you will have some movies that'll be thrown in there that'll be that'll be nominated for Best Picture. Okay, yeah, I did go to the theater and see that, but you'll have some stuff like, when did this movie even come out? And the Oscars are known for that, where they're not movies that people are necessarily going to see. And not, don't get me wrong, the Oscar movies are great movies. They normally are amazing movies, but still people are not going to see that. And I respect Samuel Jackson for doing movies that people want to see. He understands what the public like. He understands what his demographic likes, and he wants to deliver movies that people are going to go see. No matter Samuel Jackson has I don't think he has any awards for, like, any Oscar, excuse me, for best actor in an Oscar worthy film or anything like that, but everybody has a favorite Samuel L. Jackson movie. Everybody has seen Samuel L. Jackson in the movies. Um, and that's his legacy is going to be, and having all of these films. He's going to act until he dies. Just like Morgan Freeman, he's going to probably act until he dies. It's incredible what these guys done, but Samuel Jackson in particular, giving us classic after classic after classic. And you gotta love that. You gotta love that. The Oscars have always tried to taint uh, films that we go see. That's why people like to see, like, the MTV Movie Awards, like stuff like that. Really shows films that we watch on a daily basis. So that's that's where I feel like Samuel Jackson. He's doing the right thing. We made, like, what they say on social media. We made the right person famous, in a sense, even though we didn't really. Because Samuel Jackson been doing this, but I did, when I was going down a rabbit hole looking at this, and I was looking at his filmography, it did make me want to put together my first top five on this movie channel. So here we go. I'm going to give y'all my top five Samuel L. Jackson movies. This is okay. I want to make sure I make this very clear. This is my top five. Okay. This is what I feel like. And listen, I did do this quick, so I don't even know if this is the right order. I don't know if this is even going to fit like it should, but these are my top five. This is my list. If you have a better list, or you got some problems, leave it in the comments and let me know what y'all think. We're going to go through it pretty quickly. I'm not going to waste a lot of y'all time here, but we're going to go in right now. So these are my top five Samuel Jackson movies. Coming in number five is Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction is one of probably to a lot of people's, Samuel Jackson's greatest movie. To me, is not generationally for me. So I mean, even though I believe it came out when I maybe was a child, I don't know. See, Pulp Fiction was in 94. Okay, I was 3 years old when Pulp Fiction came out. So generationally, it's not for me. That doesn't mean that other people can't like it. I get it. It's an awesome and amazing movie. But for me, Pulp Fiction is one of Samuel Jackson's best work. I had to put this movie on the list because I know if I didn't, then nobody else would listen to the rest of my list. So at number five, I'm definitely coming in at Pulp Fiction. Now we get into the ones that I really, really love. Number four, this is my list. I'm telling you right now, this is my list. But for me, number four is Snakes on a Plane. Snakes on a Plane is one of the Snakes on a Plane wasn't this huge movie that people that everybody might know about, but Snakes on a Plane is probably is one of my favorite Samuel L. Jackson movie. It's it's a crazy concept where these there's snakes on a plane. They're in the vents, they're coming up, they're killing people. It was an insane movie, and it is an insane scenario. What would you do if there was snakes on a plane? And of course, Samuel L. Jackson gives one of the most iconic lines of all time.
Enough is enough! I have had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane! Everybody strap in! I'm about to open some fucking windows.
Coming in at number three, I almost forgot about this one. But I'm glad I didn't. And that is Django.
I asked you, who this nigga on that land? It's Snowball.
His character in Django was an amazing character to play. Of course, Django was one of the movies that especially us in the black community, we love that movie. It was an awesome movie, one of Jamie Foxx's best movie as well, which we had to talk about him on another episode because he is amazing at what he does as well. But that character that he played, that Uncle Ruckus type character that working for the white man as his assistant slave or whatever he was, that character was amazing. Django was an amazing movie, so I got that one at number three. At number two for me is Coach Carter. Coach Carter is probably to me probably the best role that Samuel Jackson has played. Coach Carter is a classic movie, man. Just about taking young men and showing them the right way and bringing them together to win championship and dealing with the hardships of living in the hood and all this other stuff. I seen a meme the other day that said Coach Carter wanted these students to get C's and the whole town went crazy. So that is true. But Coach Carter is one of the most classic Samuel L. Jackson movies. But for me, it's probably number one as far as the production, the film, the script, and all that. But for me, I got at number one, I Have Soul Men. Soul Men is probably my favorite Samuel L. Jackson movie. Yes, Bernie Mac is in it. That movie is amazing where these two guys, they come together and they was in an old singing group and they have to travel the country. They travel the country to get to New York because that's the funeral of the third member of their group who happened to be John Legend. And so the whole film was funny from start to finish. Bernie, Samuel Jackson, the whole thing was hilarious. Of course, Bernie Mac, God rest his soul. He is the heart. He's the comedy in the movie. But Samuel Jackson was the heart in that movie. So that is my top five Samuel Jackson movie. And a couple honorable mentions that I had was Shaft. I had Shaft on here as an honorable mention. Lakeview Terrace, which I think was an awesome, awesome movie. And I just put the MCU because his character as Nick Fury is one of the most iconic characters. He played that character from the beginning as amazing as he could. And I hope he makes an appearance in Doomsday and Secret Wars because we need Nick Fury Nick Fury in these movies. I'm already upset that he wasn't in the Endgame. I just still don't understand why Nick Fury showed up at the funeral at the end but wasn't on the battlefield with everybody else. I guess because he's getting old. But those are my top five Samuel L. Jackson movies. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you agree with my list? Do you disagree? What would you change? What would you take out? What would you add? What would you shift around? Let me know in the comments below. I'm excited to see what you all think. Last but not least on our list, before we get to our last story of the day, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. That way you do not forget, you don't miss when we drop a video. We have DCM news, movie news going out every week. Been consistent, it's a lot of fun. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget we have our live shows on Tuesday right here on the YouTube page where we talk about all the news, all the latest pop culture, entertainment, cultural news, stories, whatever we can find, memes, trending questions, whatever's going on. We love to talk about it with me, of course, PETRYPERFECT and VINOFLIGHT. So make sure that you like and subscribe so that you don't miss any of that. our last movie of the day, our last movie news of the day, excuse me, is going to be regarding one of the more iconic horror villains of all time, and that is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and how a lot of these movie companies are bidding for the property rights to this movie. What's happening right now is that the Texas Chainsaw Massacre property is basically up for sale, and there are some iconic there are some major um there's some major movie companies that are trying to get after it and make it um and bring that property under their, excuse me, I was trying to pull up the thing, and they're trying to get that make that bring up that property to their movie producer. So there's a couple that I wanted to discuss. These are all the ones that are in the running. I think there might be other companies as well, but these are the ones that's for sure involved, and that is Paramount Studios is trying to get their hands on the Texas Chainsaw property. Neon Studios are trying to get their hands on it. A24, Netflix, and the most interesting one is Jordan Peele and Monkey Paw Studios. They're trying to get their hands on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and this one is it's going to be interesting. I think if you ask me, I don't. I would probably want Paramount to get it. Um, I didn't like Neon's film discography. I didn't like what they really had to offer. Um, I didn't really know much about Neon, but I do like the what Paramount has. Cause Paramount has movies um like Smile, A Quiet Place Day One, which I really wasn't the biggest fan of. A Quiet Place Day One really wasn't this great movie. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like A Quiet Place, but they do have A Quiet Place 1 and 2, World War Z, Halloween, Scary Movie 3, Pet Cemetery, which is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. Pet Cemetery, of course, the Smile franchise, Orphan. Um, they have a pretty good track record. And so I do think it to me out of looking at those few options, Monkey Paw, Paramount, Neon, A24, and Netflix, I do think it's gonna be a two-man race between Paramount and Monkey Paw, which is Jordan's Peele studio. And Jordan Peele, I would love for him to have the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but I don't Jordan Peele movies, he does a great job. Of course, Get Out, Us, um, Nope. And then he has the new one coming out, the football one coming out called Him, which I'm sure is going to be an awesome movie. But Jordan Peele, man, he be putting some thought into these movies, man. And Texas Chainsaw Massacre, he goes around killing folks and just slicing people up. You know, he's based out of a true story out right here in Texas. He's based out of a true story, and I don't want Jordan Peele to get a hold of this movie and just putting all these symbolisms in it. And I just ain't got time to be going there trying to think about, okay, man, wait. Oh, so he left the white people alive because the chainsaw only kill black people. I ain't got time for all that. And I just feel like Jordan Peele is gonna do that to this movie. I don't want a message. I don't need when I see Michael Myers or Freddy Krueger or the Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Pennywise or Chucky or Annabelle or whatever, the nun. I don't need the race to play a factor in these movies. Um it reminds me of the TV show Them that was on Amazon Prime, where I felt so bad for these black people who moved into this white neighborhood and then they were haunted, and so they had to deal with the racism, and then they had to deal with the people that was they had to deal with the evil spirits in the house. Like, you can't win. You go outside, you're getting attacked. You go inside, you're getting attacked. I just don't want that with Jordan Peele if he gets a hold of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I just want a good movie where he's just going around slicing people up, chopping them up, and doing what he does. That's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So if you ask me, you doing, I'm gonna just I want Paramount to take it. A24 has two of my favorite horror movies, which one of them is Hereditary. I think Hereditary is an awesome movie. It was one of the best horror movies I've seen in this century, I'm gonna say. Um, but they did have Hereditary. We do have Midsommar, which is another great movie of mine. But they do have Talk to Me, which I know I haven't yet to see, but I heard it was an awesome movie. I'm still mad I haven't watched it yet. But they just have a lot of different. A24 has some good horror movies as well. They're A24. What I like about their movies, especially with Hereditary and Midsommar, is their movies are deep too, but they're not deep on a from a racial standpoint. Their movies are just more complex, and they're not trying to get you with jump scares. Jump scares, of course, when you look in one way, then you turn back and then somebody's in your face. That's what jump scares are. I don't see A24 necessarily doing that. I'm not saying that they don't have any movies that don't do that, but for sure I know two of their best, Midsommar and Hereditary, they were just creepy movies. Midsommar was so special because it was a horror movie in broad daylight. The movie took place in daylight and it was still horrifying. That's just something you don't really ever see. And that's why I thought that was the creative part of that movie. It takes a little bit to get started, but once it gets rolling, it gets rolling. So having A24, I think A24 would be a good competition as well. Netflix, Netflix can be a hit and miss. Netflix does make good movies, but it's just a hit and miss. I just rather it go with someone who has produced horror movies before. And I did see this article that I would like to share really quick. This is from Deadline, and this is basically talking about why these companies are bidding for this movie and that the success that it can bring. So I'm just going to read it out to you real quick. Classic horror franchises rebooted after several years laid dormant are a big of a business, especially when left in the hands of passionate authors. The Scream 6, under the direction of Radio Silence, opened to a series best at the domestic box office with 44.4 million and 108 million domestic in 2023. Ditto for 2018's Halloween, which saw the return of Jamie Lee Curtis under the direction of David Gordon Green. That pick opened up to a franchise high of 76.2 million and ending its domestic run at 159.3 million. Recently, Final Destination Bloodlines, the first sequel in 14 years in New Line's 25-year-old series, opened to a franchise high of 51.6 million and quickly becoming the highest grossing installment in the six-film series with a current running global take of $235 million. So basically what the article is saying is that they're seeing a resurgence of horror movies that nobody has touched in a while. 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 years. If no one has done a movie in so long, and then they're bringing it back, and as long as they're bringing it back and making it a good movie, the movies are selling, they're creating money. I think in the same Deadline article I saw that the original movie, um I was trying to find it real quick. The original movie, I think it cost like 100. I think I saw it like it cost like $140,000 to make and ended up doing like 35 million. And I'm gonna say that was like 1970 or something like that. So like this is one of the more iconic horror villains that people are really, really excited to see. I don't know who's gonna win the bidding war. Like I said, I do like Paramount, I do like A24. I like Jordan Peele to create original content. To create content. I don't want him using a property that's already there. I think he would do best using creating his own original content, letting his brain cook up something and do it. Like this movie he has coming out, him with the football, with the great football player, and then showing what the cost of fame is and the horror side. Like, I think that's going to be an amazing movie, but it's an original idea. I don't think Jordan Peele needs to have a Texas Chainsaw Massacre or a Michael Myers or a Freddy Krueger. I don't think he needs to have an already created property. I just think that he needs to do his own original work. That way you can put your own messaging in it. You don't have to put a message in something else. You can create your own message, and you already have the track record of putting out great products. So I don't think that Jordan Peele needs to touch the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So I'm gonna leave it up for Paramount and A24 to really take the two-man race. I'm taking Jordan Peele out. I'm just going to do Paramount and A24. Those two have made great horror movies, and I think that if either one of those franchises or studios, get their hands on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, we could see a resurgence of Leatherface himself. So let me know what you think in the comments. Who should get the bidding rights to Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Should it be Paramount? Should it be A24? Should it be Netflix? Or should it be Jordan Peele and Monkey Paw Productions? Let me know in the comments what you all think. has been another amazing episode. I hope you all have enjoyed yourself today. Let me know what you think about everything in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going. Remember, like and subscribe to the page so you don't miss any videos when we go live. When we go live, or when we drop a video. Excuse me. Live shows are on Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Central, right here on the YouTube page. And until next time, I will see y'all later. Peace.